Good evening, LTL Nation, and welcome back to the 7-Minute Breakthrough Revolution. Tonight we kickstart a new week on Life Talks Live with a 7-day dosage of positivity. And this topic has become a sort of a social cliche, and as simple as it sounds, if you are as human as the next person, you must have noticed by now that it is not that easy to implement positivity in our day-to-day lives. And I'm not talking about our lives that we portray on social media, the ones where we are always radiating positivity with seamless perfection. No, I'm talking about our very core, our being, our interactive lives with everyone around us on a daily basis. My name is Faisal Zeineddine, and right now you're watching Life Talks Live. And if you noticed, in the very moment that you tuned in, every single thought that you were having before that just disappeared. Anything you were thinking about in life, any problems you had, just vanished. If you're actually listening, if you're not daydreaming somewhere else. But if you're listening, right now your thoughts are like two sides of a coin. Side number one is like a positive side. So if you're looking at me, listening to me, you're saying in your mind that, hey, this might be something cool, this is interesting, I might actually have take something out of this talk, then you probably might, because you have a positive projection of what you're listening to. But the other side, the negative side, if you're thinking this is lame, this is a waste of time, this is boring, whatever you're thinking negatively, then you are already wasting your time and you're not going to take anything out of this. And by positive, I don't mean that you like what I'm saying or you agree, but if you're thinking positively, if you are actually giving this your time in a positive sense, you might build your own opinion and might actually get something out of that. And the reason I'm saying this is because I believe positivity has two sides. One is positive thinking, and number two is positive doing. But before we move forward, I'm sure all of you have heard the term positive thinking so many times. Everyone tells you gotta be positive, you gotta think positive. But it's not this la la land of unicorns and butterflies and music and everything's like sunshine and rainbows. That is not true at all. Positive thinking is so different than what you have learned before. Oh, and that was a bit scary, guys. So positive thinking is totally different. The truth is, positive thinking is not that extreme. I'm going to tell you a story right now that's going to prove my point, and I want you to understand the moral of this before we continue any further and we go to actual positive doing and address the secret, which is total bullshit, by the way, but we're gonna get to that in a minute. There's this really old story, a Zen story, that happened like a long time ago. In this old village, there was this farmer amongst a lot of villagers who was considered to be a very weird guy, peculiar of sorts, and the villagers always seemed to zone him out because he was that kind of strange to them. So this farmer and his son lived on this farm, and they had this horse. And one day the dad buys a new saddle for the horse, which was superiorly expensive. And on the same night, the horse runs away, it disappears. And the next day all the villagers come over to the farmer's house, and they tell him, oh my God, you are really unlucky. How bad is your luck to have lost your horse right after buying a new saddle for this horse? And the farmer looks at them and says, yes, it might be bad luck, but it might be good luck, so who knows? And they all look at him weirdly. How can this be good luck? How can you even think that this is good luck? And he's like, I don't know. It might be good luck, I don't know. So the villagers leave saying this guy's crazy, and they go away. And the next night, the same horse comes back, bringing back 3 wild horses. 3 wild horses. All the villagers come back to the farmer and they're like, oh my God, you have the best luck in the world. You are so lucky. And the farmer looks at them and he says, well, this might be good luck, but this might be bad luck too. And they're like, oh, this guy's crazy. How can this be bad luck? You just got 3 new wild horses. How can this be bad luck? And he says, I don't know, but it might. And so a few days later, the farmer and his son were actually trying to tame these wild horses. And while they're doing that, one of the horses kicks his son and breaks his leg. And the villagers come back and they're like, how bad is your luck? The horse broke your son's leg. How could that happen? And he tells him, well, this might be bad luck, but it also might be good luck. And they say, you're crazy. Your son just broke his leg. How can this be good luck? And he says, I don't know, but it might be good luck. 2 days later, the army recruits come over to the village and they take every able-bodied guy to go to war, and practically they're going to die, and they could not take the farmer's son because he had a broken leg. And you see, guys, the moral of the story is that we always prejudge situations. Even when it's good or bad, we directly put it in a black or white area. If it's positive, or we judge it before we know the final result or what's going to come out of life. And we implement that on everything that comes across us every single day. But the truth is, even through the worst of scenarios, the worst of events, something good might be coming out of it. We don't know, we can't tell. This is life. Good stuff happen, bad stuff happen. But if you have that, what I like to call a neutral positive outlook to something, do not judge it. Accept it. And ultimately, with that accepting of the matter, you can have a positive outlook to everything. But have you ever had this, like, you lose something at home and you go crazy and I lost it, and the next day you go and buy a new one automatically because you've already decided negatively that you lost it, and 2 days later you find it all over again. You're like, oh, I wasted my money on something I already had. And we do this on everything. I'm giving you a very simple example, but that's the truth. We judge so quickly and we jump to conclusions. So try to have this free of judgment way of thinking in your mind that takes you somewhere you've never been before. Whenever you meet someone, whenever you come across a new event, treat it neutrally with a positive outlook, and the whole game changes. But now, if you start to think in that sense, you go to step number 2. The second thing you have to implement, it is positive doing. What do I mean by positive doing? You've heard The Secret, guys, so many times before, and I will tell you, it is the biggest scam of the century. Why? Not because it's actually false or it's not true at all, but the thing is that what it gives you is a sense of hope, that you can actually achieve something if you think in a certain way, in that positive thinking mentality. But what it does, it gives you hope. So when you get that hope, you go ahead and you do that action. And all it takes is action. All it takes is you going out there and doing something. It gives you that sense of capability. So that's where you start running and start to achieve. You put yourself out there. But the problem is with The Secret is that you were going to achieve something because you moved your ass. You're going to achieve something else because you moved your ass again. And you're thinking that The Secret is working. Oh my God, this happened to my mom. And she was like, oh, The Secret is amazing. She started putting stuff on the fridge and saying, yes, The Secret works. And it continues to build up because you're moving, not because The Secret is some beautiful, sensational thing. But what happens when you actually lose, when you actually fail at one point, when you actually don't get what you're aiming for, this is when it hits you really hard that the system, The Secret, did not work. And it hits you so hard you go to a place right before, even worse than you were before you implemented The Secret. So what you gotta do is actually move. Use the situation. Always keep on moving and trying new things. Positive doing. When it's dark, light up a candle. When the lights go out, use the situation in a positive way. Always look for something to do in bad scenarios, and you will get there. You will move your ass to go where you need to go. It's a very simple thing. Positive doing is taking scenarios that might seem weird, might seem bad, might seem really frustrating, and doing something about it. That's a positive sense. But actually complaining, sitting down, not going anywhere, not trying new things, that's a negative outlook towards life. I will tell you something. All my friends, everyone that knows me in life, will tell me at some point after meeting me that I am the luckiest guy they've ever met. Whether it's through life, whether it's through games, through whatever you can imagine, they will tell me I'm the luckiest person on the planet. And I've come to believe it, not because I actually am lucky, but because I try everything possible. I put myself everywhere. Because that's how you open doors. You gotta go knocking on those doors. Get that feeling. Once you do that, you already have a positive mentality. You want to try everything. You want to put yourself in places no one's been before. You will never be able to achieve something if you do not move. You can sit down and say, I'm going to be positive all day and wait for a miracle to happen. Nothing is going to change. Life is not waiting for you to only think positively. Life is waiting for you to take actions positively. I will ask you to give me the worst situation you've been in, and I can tell you what you have learned from it, how it has changed you, how it has made you a better person, how it has made you stronger. Life will not always be amazing, no matter what you do. But taking a bad scenario, looking at it from through different goggles, through a different spectacle, that's when you turn it all around. And that's how you will believe that something good will come out of this, which was step number 1. Step number 2 is when you move. And you always have to move. You cannot sit idle and expect something to change in your life. Start with the little things, guys. Implement the small positive changes. You have 2 choices in life. You have the choice to say, you know what? I'm gonna think negatively about everyone and everything, and see where that takes you. It will not take you very far. You will not have many friends. You will not be able to ace your job. You will not be able to even think straight in any scenario. But with a positive outlook, you have just opened 1 million doors to yourself. Through the worst, something good can happen, something different that you did not ever expect because you ran in a certain direction you've never ran before. That is my message tonight, guys. I will leave you here. Before I go, a quick reminder, tune in with Shad and tomorrow, the rest of the coaches during this week. And if you have any questions, any feedback, and you would like to discuss any topic we've discussed before or positivity this week, please, you can reach us on our Facebook fan page at Life Talks Live or our website, lifetalkslive.com. It was a pleasure being with you tonight, and I will see you next week. Have a very blessed evening, LTL Nation. Over and out.